Maybe it's taking ages today. Okay, wonderful. And Mahārāja, thank you so much for agreeing to come at such short notice and for such a short time. But it's our mercy that you have done this. So please speak something.
I can start now.
Please.
Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjan Shalakaya Chakshuramritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnebhyo Namo Namah. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. First of all, I pay my humble obeisances at the lotus feet of my Guru Maharaj, Nityalila Pravisht Om Vishnu Pad Stotashad, Shri Srimad Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj. And similar to my Shiksha Gurudevs, Nityalila Vishnu Om Vishnu Pad Stotashad, Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedant Narayan Goswami Maharaj, and Shri Srimad Om Vishnu Pad Stotashad Bhakti Vijñāna Śrīla Bhāratī Goswami Maharaj. To all Rupanuga Guru Varga, to Sapasha Śrīla Prabhupada, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Sapasha Sachinandan Gaur Hari. So, here, speaking from California, and according to California time, today we are observing Shayan Ekadashi and the holy divine appearance of Shri Srimad Bhakti Vijñāna Śrīla Bhāratī Goswami Maharaj, who hold the legacy of service mood and his unparalleled services to all disciples of, to all associates of Shri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. Because time is very short, I have only 15 minutes and there's so much to say, and it's my fault actually. I was not prepared. But when I got initiation from my Guru Maharaj in Jagannath Puri, we came to know some glories of Shri Srimad Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Goswami Maharaj. So we went to me and my godbrother Shri Madhapriya Prabhu, we went to Shri Chaitanya Gauriya Math, and there we had darshan of Srila Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Goswami Maharaj. On being asking by him who you are, and we told we just got initiation from Guru Maharaj, Shri Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj, and Srila Maharaj immediately offered a seat, a chair to sit on. So we both said, no, Maharaj, we're going to sit on the ground, on the floor. He said, no, you are like my god brothers. So I don't want to make offense if I don't offer a seat to you. But we said, no, we are just like your disciples. And we heard a lot about you. You served Guru Maharaj in so many ways. And you served so many disciples of Srila Prabhupada in so many ways. We just want to hear the glories of the associates of Srila Prabhupada, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and our Guru Maharaj. Only you can tell us. Srila Maharaj is very fond of speaking Hari Katha, non-stop Hari Katha, for hours and hours. Sometimes we used to get tired sitting and making notes, but he's not tired speaking. Bhāratī means Saraswati, the goddess of learning. And this very beautiful, this applies to our Srila Maharaj, Bhāratī. His name is Bhāratī. So as goddess of learning, always glorify Krishna and the associates of Krishna. We have seen in Śrīla Mahārāja this non-stop Harikatha, from morning till evening, till late evening, and it can go to midnight. Yeah. So this is something very special, and that attracted us a lot. So we were coming and sitting and hearing from him so much Harikatha. Bhāratī, Bha means
bring his phone. Without phone he cannot.
महाराज पूज्यपाद बंद महाराज जी आप म्यूट कर लो, आपकी आवाज आ रही है. महाराज कैन यू प्लीज म्यूट बिकॉज वी कैन हेयर यू. So Bhāratī means effulgence. Bha means effulgence, and Rat means one who is absorbed in that effulgence. According to Bhakti Raksha Śrīla Gosvāmī Maharaj, in his commentary on Brahma Gayatri, he explains Bha means effulgence, and this applies to Paramatma sitting in the heart. But for Madhure Ras Bhaktas, Bhāratī effulgence means Radharani. So Bha means effulgence, and Rat means one who is absorbed in that effulgence. Means one who is absorbed in service of Radharani. This is a meaning of Sanskrit meaning of the word Bhāratī. So there can be many meanings we can derive from the word Bhāratī, but one word is this: one who is Rat, absorbed in the services of Radharani and those who are associates of Shri Radharani all over Guru Vargas. Once upon a time, I was in Chandigarh on this day, Srila Maharaj appearance day, and we observed celebration in his presence of his appearance, and there were hundreds of people standing in line in queue to offer him garlands, flowers, some cloths, some donations. So many of them were sitting, standing in queue. Srila Maharaj was happily accepting all those gifts given by the devotees. And it took like 2-3 hours. He's sitting on a seat and receiving everything. And when this procedure was over, the mic was given to Srila Maharaj to speak some Harikatha. I still remember, after doing his Mangalacharan, Srila Maharaj said, "I am not a fool." This was his words. "I'm not a fool, I'm not foolish, that I'm sitting on this Vyasasana and I'm here to accept my worship, flowers, etc. from all of you. I'm not that foolish. I've never learned in my life to speak anything which has no gravity." Srila Maharaj always used to say, we have never learned in our life something which is not, even the words which have no gravity, because I have associated with my divine masters, my holy masters, and that means the associates of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. So this was seen in this life history of Srila Maharaj. Every word, every incident, whatever he's using, applying, is full of gravity. Not light words, heavy words. And that is the meaning of, this is the meaning of word guru. One who is heavy has so much gravity in those words. Srila Maharaj said, I'm not foolish to receive all your offerings, to getting all these gifts from you, to get my worship. I'm not that foolish. I'm here to serve all of you. And that day, Srila Maharaj gave a very detailed explanation of the word serving. In the realm of love, means prema, in the realm of service, spiritual world, giving is also service and acceptance is also service, Srila Maharaj said. I'm here to serve all of you by receiving these gifts from all of you. This is my service to all of you because that makes you feel happy, make you feel bliss. So if I'm able to serve all Vaishnava and Vaishnavis here, I'm doing Vaishnav Seva. I'm not here to get worship from all of you. Srila Maharaj's explanation of service is very important for all the devotees to know, for everyone to know. He said there is two terms. We see everyone serving Guru, serving Vaishnav, serving Krishna. But there's two categories. One is called service with responsibility, and other is called service without responsibility. So one who is serving without responsibility is called volunteer. He cannot be called, or she cannot be called sevaka. That's volunteer. But one who takes responsibility and then serve, that person is known as sevaka. Volunteer and sevaka, they're both different. And volunteer means in good times, I'm happy to serve. If I'm getting some troubles, I don't want to serve. If I feel good, I'll come to center and I will give my services. If I'm not happy and don't feel good, or even if I'm sick, I don't want to come. So, manorathe nasti dhavati vahi. Yasyasti bhagavad bhat akinchana sarguneste samasto sura. Hara bhaktasya kuto mahad guna. Manorathe nasti dhavati vahi. Srila Mahārāja used to quote this verse. One who is following akinchana bhakti means unalloyed, pure bhakti. All the qualities of associates falls reflects on that person. But one who is always riding on the horse of the mind cannot gather any good qualities. So whatever is submissive to mind, if I want to serve, I will serve. If I don't want to serve, I will not serve. This is called volunteer. This is not called sevaka. Srila Mahārāja said, we are here to serve the mission of Mahaprabhu, not as volunteer, but as sevaka. And this seva is unconditional seva. There is no condition. If we apply condition in that, how we can achieve that unconditional love? So Srila Mahārāja gave an example when he was in his beginning years as a resident of Math. So one incident happened that the sevaka, the other brahmacharis, godbrothers of Srila Mahārāja, they were not getting chapatis in the evening. That's a trend in Bengal. In the evening, they all eat chapatis. And they complained many times to the temple president who was not supplying them what they were demanding. So they all approached to Srila Mahārāja asking, please complain to Guru Mahārāja, Shishimad Bhakti Deita Madhav Gosvāmī Mahārāja. Complain to him that the temple president is not following the norms and he's not supplying us chapatis, so we can't serve like this and we are leaving. Srila Mahārāja smiled. He said, when I joined my Guru Mahārāja, I didn't sign any contract with him. That only if you fulfill my desires and only if you supply me chapatis, then I will stay in the mud. But if you won't supply all this, I will not stay in the mud. There was no contract. There was no condition there. It's unconditional. Srila Mahārāja said, I learned from my all acharyas, my holy masters, what is the meaning of unconditional service. They've gone through a lot to bring up the mission. On this stage, today we are, not struggling that much as our acharyas, our Guru Vargas have struggled so much to bring up the mission to this extent. But they all act as sevaka, not as volunteers. They gave up their life, actually not their time, but they gave their life, day and night in the service of the mission. We are nothing in comparison to them, nothing. Srila Mahārāja said, but we have to learn from them. Whatever circumstance comes in life, any troubles comes in the service, embrace those troubles with the words of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Tomar sevai dukh hai jato saito param sukha. Oh Krishna, if any troubles, any problems comes in my services to you, I don't want to back up. I want to embrace that because you are the center of those troubles or any problems. You are the center. And because I'm in love with you or I want to develop love with you, I don't want to back up. This is how Srila Mahārāja used to give so much inspiration. And he said, Seva means Hanuman, he used to sit at the feet of Lord Ram to serve him. Garuda used to sit on the head of Lord to serve him. Sakhas in Braj, they're climbing on the shoulders of Krishna to serve him. Yashoda Maya twists the ear of Krishna and cane her hand, chastise Krishna. That is her services. And Priya Yadi Man Kore Kore Bharsan, Ved Stuti Haite Hare Morma. And when the Priyas, my dears, my dear gopis and Radharani, when they abuse me, this is the service of Madhurya Ras. When Radharani extend her feet, Krishna, you can massage me. Or you can decorate my hairs as Shingarvat. Kesh Prasadhan Tavatra. This is the services. So Srila Mahārāja said there's so many details and subtle points in that services. One last point, and I'm ending up because I've only had 15 minutes to speak. Very, very heart-touching point. And we can't even digest this. So in Sri Chaitanya Gaudiya Math in Jagannath Puri, next door to Srila Mahārāja's room was a room of the personal servant of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. And his name was Krishna Keshav Brahmachari. So when we were with Srila Mahārāja, we used to also visit him and used to read Chaitanya Charitamrita for us. We got opportunity to have his darshan, to hear Hari Katha from him. In his final pastimes, he got sick and he was bedridden. Once upon a time, he told me, tell Bhāratī Mahārāja to come in my room. So I approached Srila Mahārāja and said, Keshav Prabhu, calling upon you, please come. Immediately he stood up and he came to the room. And he spoke in Bengali. Kichu katha ache. We want to say something. And Srila Keshav Brahmachari, Krishna Keshav Brahmachari said, I can leave my body anytime. And I'm not sannyasi. And I'm not even Brahmin. But Bhāratī Mahārāja, you are Brahmin. And you're also sannyasi. You're in the fourth order of, Varnashram Dharma. Your status is more high than me. So, can you place your hands on my head and give me blessings? Keshav Prabhu, who's personal servant of Bhakti Siddhanta Prabhupada, who served Prabhupada and many acharyas, he's asking Srila Bhāratī Mahārāja for his blessings. So much humble, so much humble. We have seen him. And Srila Bhāratī Mahārāja, within 2 seconds, he thought for just 2 seconds, and immediately he kept his hand on the head of Krishna Keshav Brahmachari. Immediately. And after that, he paid obeisances to him. After that, he paid obeisances to him and came in his room. So we came in his room also. We paid obeisances to Srila Mahārāja. And seeing our body language, he wanted to clarify. He said, why I paid obeisances to him and why I put hand on his head, I will explain you. He said, to serve him. He asked for my blessings. To serve him, I know I have to go hell for this because he's my Guru Varga. He's my godbrother of my Guru Maharaj. But I don't mind going hell to this because I want to serve him. In his final pastime, in his last time, he wants a service from me. How can I deny him? How can I refuse him for this service? That was not his request, that was his order. And I can do anything to fulfill the order of my holy masters. You see, it's that deep point with that gravity, I was blown up. Wow, what is that? Srila Mahārāja said, Seva is not easy. Seva has so many details and in depth. And in one simple language, to please Hari Guru Vaishnav is called Seva. That's all. Atma indi priti vancha, tate bole kam, Krishna indi priti vancha, dhore premana. That's the formula in this realm of service. Thinking about ourselves, our pleasure is not service, but anything to serve Hari Guru Vaishnava is all service, even to keep hand and blessing to Anacharya. Thank you so much. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhuvya vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namo. श्री श्रीमद् भक्ति विज्ञान भारती गोसाई महाराज जी की जय। पूज्य पदवन महाराज जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
Gurudev, can you unmute there? Gurudev, you're on mute. Okay.
I also
Krishna.
want to thank Chandrika Didi for organizing this Zoom meeting. Thank you, Didi.
Okay. Very good. You are very great. What you will speak in front of you. I am as like a baby on your lap. What you will speak about. Okay. So just I want to speak few words. Gurave Gaurachandraya Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Vande Guruvadadandam Bhakta Vrinda Samanitam Sri Chaitanam Prabhum Vande Nityananda Sahodit Nandanandanahang Vande Radhika Charnadam Gopinang Samajuktanang Vrindavanam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Sri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. First of all, I offer my humble, respectful obeisances to the feet of my Gurupad Padma, Nitya-lila Pravishtam Vishnupad, Ashtutra Satyasri Bhakti Vedanta Srila Vaman Goswami Maharaj, and Nitya-lila Pravishtam Vishnupad, Ashtutra Satyasri Bhakti Vedanta Srila Vaman Goswami Maharaj. Simultaneously offer my humble, respectful Dandavat Pranam, lotus feet of Nitya-lila Pravishtam Vishnupad, Ashtutra Satyasri Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj, and Nitya-lila Pravishtam Vishnupad, Ashtutra Samad Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Gosvāmī Mahārāja. And simultaneously offer my Dandavat Pranam all Vaishnava and Vaishnavis and presented all of my guests. So today is a very super excellent auspicious day, the appearance day of Nitya-lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtutra Samad Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Gosvāmī Mahārāja. Just I want to few words about his life history and his teaching contribution. Just from Pujabad, our nearest and dearest and Gurudev very intimate servant, Sevak, from Pujabad, Bhakti Siddhanti, Bhakti Vedanta Siddhanti Maharaj, and also Madhapriya Prabhu. They also served to him for this regard. They know about him very nicely. Because our Shastra explained, Sevak Jane Sebbir Mahima. One who serves his Ishtadev, he knows the glories of his Ishtadev. Just I give an example. Hanuman, he serves his Ishtadev Ramachandra. So one he knows the glories of Ramachandra. This is Gopis, they serve to Krishna, and gopis, they know the glories of Krishna. Who can glorify to Krishna? One who serves, he knows. And
Yes, it's nice.
so, and again and again, I also bow down my forehead, the lotus feet of Bhaktivedanta Siddhanti Mahārāja and Madhav Priya Prabhu. They are so kind and who give me opportunity to speak few words about it. I am not qualified, and because I did not serve him, what I will speak about it. Just I got darshan to him and just got blessing from him when he used to come in our Rup Sanatan Gauriya Math during the time of Rup Gosvāmī's Tirubhavati. Or sometimes Srila Gurudev Sri Goswami Maharaj used to go in their temple, Sri Chaitanya Gauriya Math in Vrindavan, and sometimes we also met with him. Because that time we have no freedom to going here and there. Because in our Krishnaji Gauriya Math, we are only few brahmacharis and all we are always engaged in our temple service. And so we have no freely chance to go here and there or listen Harikatha from and here and there. Because always we also engage to service in our temple and always staying with Gurudev. When Gurudev Sri Goswami Maharaj used to go and their temple, or Vaishnava are very kind when they used to come in our temple, then we got the some opportunity to listen Harikatha from their lotus and lips. Just which I listen from Vaishnava lotus lips, just I want to speak few words about him. Śrīla Nitya Prasham Vishnupad Ashtutarasana Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Gosvāmī Mahārāja. He was born in West Bengal, Bankura district, in high class Brahman family. And especially he was born in Chakravarti family, and he was very learned and scholar. And he got graduation degree, and he was a teacher, school teacher. And then later he also gave up all his duty and responsibility to his family, and he joined in what is called Chaitanya Math, and completely surrendered lotus feet of Nityalila Parushtang Vishnupad Ashtutarasadi Satasma and Śrīla Bhakti Dvait Madhav Goswami Maharaj. Then he took brahmachari vesh and diksha, and that time his name was Narottam Brahmachari, and Narottam Das Brahmachari, and he was very scholar and also intelligent. For this regard, Nityalila Parushtang Vishnupad Ashtutarasma Bhakti Dvait Madhav Goswami Maharaj gave him one service in his temple. Specially, he was the secretary of his mission also, very learned and scholar. Then, so he also took sannyas. Then his sannyas name Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Gosvāmī Mahārāja. And one thing just I remember, he told, and sometimes I used to sit in front of him, and he told to us, when my Gurudev was present and in this material world, that time all we are very absorbed to serve his lotus feet. हम लोग सब सेवा में रहते. And that time, and 50 years look like 5 minutes. But when my Gurudev departed from this material world, that time 5 years look like 500 years. Yeah? Who is making sound?
Sorry, Gurudev, I can't find it. I can't find it. I'm looking. I'll find.
So, why? Because meeting and separation. And actually, this is true. When we meeting, that time the time is very short. Or when we separate, that time is going very long. This is the nature. And so for this regard, Srila Bhaktivedanta Bhāratī Gosvāmī Mahārāja, he told, during the service of my Gurudev, and when you are present, physically present, and that time we are always in absorbed to serve him. And different service and parikrama, and he told, we also, and he told, I was in charge of the parikrama, and dham parikrama, and also different service. Especially, he was the secretary of his mission, and many duty and responsibilities. Secretary means so many responsibilities. President maybe not so much work, but who is the secretary, he has so much responsibilities. And doing the specialist management, he told, always I engage to management. And this is service. Because seva hi paramam dharma. He told, just I listen from him, that word I want to repeat to you. Seva hi paramam dharma. Bhakti means what? Bhakti not means just name achi. Name achi, understand? Sometimes you are thinking, Gurudev, and I am chanting holy name, because Gurudev you told, tar moddhe sarvashreshta naam sankirtan niroparade naam loile Krishna pade paye premadham. There are many limbs of bhakti, 64 limbs of bhakti, but topmost bhakti is called Riva. Naam sankirtan, Hari Naam. So neophyte devotee thinking, so I will chant holy names, not need to serve anything. So for this regard, many devotees are thinking, Name achi. Name achi, then understand, I am chanting holy names. No need to serve. No. When you serve Guru and Vaishnava, then automatically Suddha Harinam will manifest in your tongue. And so for this regard, our Shastra is saying, in your hands, to serve the Guru and Vaishnava, and with your mouth, you chant holy names. And so he told this, Nam Sankirtan. And they how will chant when the Suddha Nam, pure holy names, will manifest in your tongue. And when your servitual mood will come, Seva Vritti will come. And so for this regard, he told, always I also absorbed to service in our mission and different sevas. And especially he wrote Grantha Seva. That is called Brihat Mridanga Seva. Two kinds of seva. One is called Bopu Seva, or another is called Bani Seva. Bani Seva is a topmost service. That means I am not saying the Bopu Seva is inferior. And sometimes they misunderstanding. But when you compare with Bopu Seva and Bani Seva, Bopu Seva means physically Seva. Services, lotus feet, cooking for him, or others. That is called Bopu Seva. Or Bani Seva, realize his heart and transcribe his lecture, Harikatha, and manifest books and preaching all over the world. That is called Bani Seva. That is called Brihat Mridanga Seva. So he wrote many granthas also, especially his most contribution and for the and what is called Hindi Bhasi devotees, and he manifested the book that is called Chaitanya Bhagavat and Chaitanya Charitamritam in Hindi. And now also many Hindi Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Bhagavat and available. And but mostly and others not in our Gaudiya Sampradayas, different, especially not in the line of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. Others line they also transcribe Bengali to Hindi and Chaitanya Charitamritam. But Shuddha, pure Chaitanya Charitamritam, Hindi Bhasha and Hindi language, he manifested. And Chaitanya Bhagavat. And then nowadays also our Gokul Chandra Prabhu, and he also transcribed and in Hindi and Chaitanya Charitamritam and in this way. Anyhow, just I also explain this way. He was always and absorbed in service. That is called Bani Seva. That is called also Nam Brihat Mridanga Seva. And he was always visual and alert and Sada Sarvada. And he never lazy. And when you listen Vaishnava character, what you listen is good character. Shuddha, Sadachar, Bhakti, these things also. So Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Gosvāmī Mahārāja, he was very alert. Seva Vritti. Vaishnaver Charitra Sadai Pavitra. Je Ninde Hingse Tare. Bhakti Vinod Nasambasi Tare. Sada Rahe Mauna Dhari. The character of Vaishnava always pure, neat and clear. One who criticizes Vaishnava and is what you say about him. Even he is not human being. Gurudev Gosvāmī Mahārāja used this word. जो वैष्णव की निंदा करता है उसके तो मनुष्य के पर्याय भी लाना नहीं चाहिए. One who criticized Vaishnava, he is not the level of human being. So never criticize Vaishnava. Vaishnava ninda. Mahaprabhu Vaishnava ninda kabul sahi te na pari. I cannot tolerate one who criticize Vaishnava. Vaishnava ninda kabul not. Never criticize Vaishnava. So Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Gosvāmī Mahārāja, he never criticized Vaishnava and always absorbed his service. Seva Vritti. And mostly, and just I remember, not in sequence I can speak because time is very short. Many speakers today to offer their Pushpanjali unto his lotus feet. So I can speak few words this way. When he used to come in our Rup Sanatan Gauriya Math, especially in the day of Rup Gosvāmī Pad, disappearance day, he spoke about Rup Goswami's contribution and his life history. Very sweet. And Gurudev Srinarayan Goswami was so much happy with him. And mostly he also discussed about Anna Vilasita Sunnam Jnana Karmadana Britam Anu Kullena Krishnanu Silanam Bhaktira Uttama. He discussed about the Uttama Bhakti. Actually, why I am saying this here, who can serve his Ishtadev? Who knows the heart of his Ishtadev? Ishtadev, understand? Possible Devi. Srimati Radhika, she can serve to Krishna and proper way. Why? But Srimati Radhika, she knows the heart of Krishna. And Krishna Mai, Krishna Radha, Antare Vaire, Jaha Jaha Netra Pade, Taha Krishna Sukare. Srimati Radhika means here, Devi Krishna Mai Prakta Radhika for Devata. Devi ko hi dotamana parama sundari kingba Krishna Kidar Vasati Nagari. And Devi Krishna Mai Radha. Srimati Radhika's name is Radha. Why Srimati name is called Radha? Because Srimati Radhika, she knows the heart of Krishna. Devi ko hi dotamana antarva কৃষ্ণ বাঞ্ছা পূর্তি করে আরাধনে অতএব রাধিকা নাম পুরাণে বখান। And in the Upanishad, Ved Puran Upanishad glorifies about Radha Nam. Why? Krishna Vancha, Purti Kore Aradhana. Srimati Radhika, she fulfill all the desires of Krishna. Krishna Vancha Purti Kore Aradhana. Atev Radhika Nam Purane Vakhan. For this regard, her name is called Radha. And very clearly, Krishna Vancha Purti Kore Aradhane. Atev Radhika Nam Purane Vakhan. So that means one who knows the heart of his Ishtadeva, and he can properly serve his Ishtadeva. And in the same way, Śrīla Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Gosvāmī Mahārāja, and he served his Guru Vargas, Gurudev, and mostly, and he served and many Prabhupada disciples. Just I heard from his lotus leaves. One day he told, and I met with many the disciples of Bhakti Siddhanta Śrīla Saraswati Prabhupada, and I also served Vaishnava Seva, Guru Seva, Vaishnava Sevan, Guru Sevan. This is our life. We don't know about Krishna. We cannot serve to Krishna. We cannot serve to Srimati Radhika. We cannot serve to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But we can serve Vaishnava, who is in front of us. Vaishnava Seva. Vaishnava Seva is very important. Chariya Vaishnava Seva Nistar Kechikiva. And if you not serve to, if you not serve to Vaishnava, never you free from Maya. Vaishnava Seva is important. And Vaishnava Seva or Guru Seva. And Guru Seva, Vaishnava Seva. Guru Susha Bhakta Sarvo Labhena Cha Sangena Sadhuna Isara Aradhana. Prahlad Mahārāja told. And why I am saying this? Because Bhakti Vijñāna Śrīla Bhāratī Gosvāmī Mahārāja, he is always absorbed to service of Guru and Vaishnava. Vaishnava Seva. And this is very important. And just I finished my katha also. And when our beloved Gurudev Śrīla Bhakti Vedanta Śrīla Nāṇ Gosvāmī Mahārāja departed from this material world, and that time our Siddhanti Maharaj and Madhav Priya Prabhu, they also served to him. We saw, and they are so lucky, and they served their Guru, Nitya Vishnu Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj. Then they also served Gurudev Śrīla Nitya Vishnu Bhakti Vedanta Śrīla Nāṇ Gosvāmī Maharaj. And when Nāṇ Gosvāmī Maharaj departed, then they also served to Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Gosvāmī. They are very lucky, and we are very unfortunate. Durbhaga, we have no time to here and there to going, because always we also preaching, and mostly I am always out of India. Mahadevi does not like me to stay in India. What to do? When Gurudev gave me sannyas, but Maharaj always should be preached in Western country. And so I have no time to stay in India. And anyhow, but sometimes I meet with the Vaishnavas and got some opportunity listen Harikatha from the lotus leaves of Vaishnava. This, and so I pray to Siddhanti Bhakti Vedanta Siddhanti Maharaj, Madhav Priya Prabhu. They are very so kind and so very humble also. And especially Bhakti Vedanta Siddhanti Maharaj, very humble and love and affection. He has so these are, and I want to also speak about glories of Bhakti Vedanta Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Gosvāmī Maharaj, and he also especially was expert of the Shuddha Panjika. Panjika, understand? And calendar in the Vaishnava calendar is Vaishnava Avirbhav Tithi, Tirobhav Tithi, Ekadashi Tithi, Purnima Tithi, all these things. And he also gives the perfect way he explains this. So for the Vishuddha Panjika, he also manifested and 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 especially that and in his heart, and he took care all the many devotees. Generally said, and then something is happened in their mission, and then he left his mission. Then he also manifested his own mission. What is the mission name? Visuddha Chaitanya Bani. Many also Gurudevs, many disciples, they also took shelter, his lotus feet. Many also took sannyas from him. Many also this preaching under guidance him. And Vaishnava, actual our only one parivar, that is called Gaura parivar. Try to understand this is called, all we are called, which parivar? Gaura parivar. And understand? So, but sometimes people, they cannot understand. Just they also envious, jealousy, these things. But a misunderstanding to each others. They go, maybe I going to him, maybe other Vaishnava, they are criticize to me. This is not true. You are free. And you listen Hari Katha from any Vaishnava, but have to listen Hari Katha from Shuddha Vaishnava. Understand? Shuddha Vaishnava. Always you would listen Hari Katha from Shuddha Vaishnava. If you would listen Hari Katha from Ashuddha Vaishnava, then you will get benefit. So I will not take too much of your time. So Mahārāja give blessing to us. Today very super excellent, auspicious day. Vaishnava Gunagan. And our life will be successful if you listen Vaishnava Jivan Charit. And Guru Gosvāmī Mahārāja, he explained that two kinds of Bhagavat. One is Grantha Bhagavat and it is called Bhakta Bhagavat. Sometimes you may not understand the real meaning of Bhagavat, but if you listen and associate with Bhakta Bhagavat, then you understand the perfect meaning of Grantha. Jaha Bhagavat pado Vaishnava sthane ekanto asray karo Chaitanya charane. Chaitanya Bhagavat, Chaitanya Charitamritam, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami also explained, and you have to listen Bhagavat Katha under guidance of Shuddha Vaishnava. Not Avaishnava. Avaishnava Mukhodgirinam Puto Harikathamritam Sravanam Naiva Kartabam Sarvachishta Jathapaya. So listen Hari Katha, how our Vaishnava Purva Acharyas, previous Acharyas, they serve all their Guru Vargas. Just you also remember one Katha, then I finish. My tongue is very eager and itching to speak. Always you are so much itching my tongue. I want to, very difficult to stop. Just I listen this way, and once and Srila Gurudev, so Nan Goswami Maharaj train ticket and Srila Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Goswami train ticket, both are same train. They have to return back, I think they are coming from Madras to Vrindavan. But one day before, Srila Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Goswami Maharaj, he changed his ticket. And he arrived in Vrindavan one day before Gurudev arrived. And then when Gurudev arrived, why did you change your ticket and you arrived before me? That time he told, actually, I'm thinking if I travel with you, but I cannot arrange your service. For this regard, I changed my ticket and I arrived before you, and I changed. I also arrange your room, and especially my room, And so this is called Vaishnava Seva. And many people go, no, I will go travel with Gurudev. And when you travel, and same time I will travel. And when Gurudev will come near, there is no seats, no nothing. The disciple is not thinking this. But look, why I am saying this, because Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Gosvāmī Mahārāja, how he was alert and satarka to Vaishnava Seva. Disciple means is what? Disciple means Sevak, this Sevak Dharma. They first arrive before the Guru and arrange for him. And so many teachings is giving to us. And this is not true. When Gurudev was traveling in around the world, we also travel. And sometimes we have no time to listen all Harikathas from lotus feet of Gurudev. And especially I have remember Gurudev was in Germany and Gurudev going to Holland. Then night time we also then by bus this is coming to Germany to Holland and coming to Germany to Holland coming. Before Gurudev arrived in Holland, we also arranged Gurudev and everything. And understand, especially Vrinda Didi and also Tunga Vidya Didi, myself, and we also traveled to Gurudev. And before Gurudev arrived in that place, we also arrived and also arranged everything. Guru Seva Disha. And they're not Gurudev, and I will travel with you and same flight. And you will arrive, this is not the Guru Seva. Guru Seva means is what? Before Gurudev, I have to arrive and arrange for him. So I am thinking, because this is the teaching, Siksha of Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Gosvāmī Mahārāja. And how he has love and affection with the Vaishnava Seva. For this regard, and he told, when he heard this Katha, heart melted. How he has love and affection with our beloved Gurudev. So there are many Sikhs also there. Seva Vritti. Vaishnava Seva, Guru Seva. This is our aim and object. Vancha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha. Patidanam Pavanebho Vaishnavabho Namo Namaha. Jai Nitya Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki Jai. And all Vaishnava and Vaishnavis and those who are listening my Katha, if I committed any offense, don't take my offense. Dandavat Pranam. Especially again and again, I pay my obeisances and Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Gosvāmī Mahārāja too, and armies, those who are front to him, especially Śrīla, our Param Pujavad, Bhakti Siddhanta, Siddhanti Maharaj and Madhav Priya Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji, Maharaj Ji, wherever you are doing, please accept my Dandavat Pranam. Panchavirpa Sindhu.
Dandavat Pranam Maharaj.
Vaishnava. Dandavat Pranam. Dandavat Maharaj. আবার দেখা হবে হরিবল সুন্দর আপনার হরিকথা শুনলাম খুব ভালোই লাগলো অনেক দিনের পরে আপনার সঙ্গে দেখা হলো ফিজিক্যালি না হলো আপনার দিব্য মূর্তি আপনার মুখারবিন্দ থেকে সূর্যের আলো কেমন পড়ছে যেমন রথযাত্রার সময় জগন্নাথ উপরে যেন করে ঝলমল সূর্যালোক যেন করে ঝলমল আপনার দিব্য মূর্তি আনন্দ লাগলো আপনি আমাদের প্রতি এইভাবে স্নেহ আশীর্বাদ রাখুন যেন জীবনে ভজন সাধন করতে পারি একটা জীবন গুরু বৈষ্ণবী
how Śrīla Bhakti Maharaj used to serve all the Vaishnavas. So there is a small fraction of that desire. Even a desire can come in a heart to make our life successful. Maharaj, they have to continue everything.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Gurudev, for joining us today. Dandavat Pranam to you.
Okay, Haribol. Okay, nice to see you again. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So now we will be joined by Vasanti Didi. Vasanti Didi, are you there?
Yeah, Haribol.
Oh, Dandavat Pranam Didi. Are you okay?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
A little bit sick. I'm okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're okay to speak?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Okay. I'm embarrassed, but okay.
Be well soon.
Thank you. Should I start?
Yes, please. That'd be lovely. Yes, please.
Jnanatimrandasya Gnanjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Panchakalpachubhascha Kripasindubhye Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Shri Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So first of all, I offer my heartfelt obeisances to my beloved Holy Master Nityalila Vishnupada Sota Soji Shima Bhaktivedanta Narayana Goswami Maharaj, and to my Shiksha Guru Srila Nityalila Vishnupada Sota Soji Shima Bhakti Goswami Maharaj, whose divine Avirbhav Tithi is today. Also to Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who created a miracle in this entire world by the mercy of his Guru and Guru Parampara, to our Param Gurudev and our entire Rupana Guru Varga. So thank you for inviting me. I'm very embarrassed. We have such exalted, and we have our Shripad Santi Maharaj and Shripad Ban Maharaj and Shripad Nimra, all these amazing sannyasis who are so scholars with realization and just so warm and caring about us as well. So here I am, this little me. But for my own purification, I really appreciate that you always include me, Chandrika, and praying for all of your mercy that I can somehow serve, as we've been hearing how Srila Bharatīji Maharaj has instructed and wants us to serve. I feel like I am just a mercy case in the intensive care unit, and by some incredible past life Sukriti, I happen to be in the right place at the right time. And I know I share this every year, but I was really having a very hard time after our Srila Gurudev left this world. And I didn't want to continue on with my service. I felt like, what's the point of traveling and preaching? It was just really difficult. And I also at that time had this crazy mosquito disease, so I was not feeling well. And I went to have darshan of Srila Bhakti Vallabh Tirtha Goswami Maharaj in Mayapur. It was 2011. And I went with my god sister Anita Dasi, and there was a bunch of my other god sisters there. And Bhakti Vallabh Tirtha Maharaj didn't give darshan that night due to ill health. And then we saw Srila Bharatīji Maharaj sitting. So I didn't know who he was, but I had read his article in our Harmonist that was published just after Srila Gurudev left. And I read his article. When I read it, I thought, wow, this is someone who really loves my Gurudev. And then Srila Maharaj was just sitting in like a plastic chair, no one around him, just sitting and watching and observing. And I thought, how humble is this Vaishnav? So I told Anita, well, I read his article and it was so beautiful. And she said, let's talk to him. So we went and we offered pranam, and I didn't know what to say. I was very shy, but I said, Maharaj, I read your article in our Harmonist just today. Thank you so much. It was so inspiring. And then, as I think Shripad Santi Maharaj said, Maharaj loved to speak. I loved. He could go on and on and on and on for hours, even in the later years, 2016, 17, 15. I remember 15, 16 being in Puri, and he would be giving Hari Katha, and then when they would ask him to speak because of his health, he would say, oh, my policemen have come. And then he would stand up and he would still be giving Hari Katha as he was walking back to his room. He would continue the Katha, then he would go in his room and he would still be giving the Katha. So he just started speaking, and he was just sharing so much history of Navadvip Dham Parikrama. And he shared how our Param Gurudev, Bhakti Brighan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, protected Srila Saraswati Thakur when he was being attacked, how he changed cloth, and he was sharing all this beautiful katha in relation to Navadvip Dham Parikrama. So then one of my god sisters said, "Oh, Maharaj, you know, this is our first Navadvip Parikrama without our Gurudev, and we're feeling very like what to do, lost, what to do, a little sad." And he said, "Oh, your Gurudev is so merciful. He built you a temple. He gave you a room. He's taught you how to do Parikrama, and by doing Parikrama, you're following all the 64 limbs of Bhakti." He said, "So you are so fortunate." He said, "But I'm so unfortunate because now I'm old and my legs don't work and I cannot go out." He said, "But I am fortunate because all of you have come to see me and I'm having darshan of the Vaishnavas." And he gave this like smile. He had this little boy sweet smile and he smiled. And then I felt like it was the first time, like since our Srila Gurudev left about 3 or 4 months prior, I like, wow, like I felt my heart smiling again. It's the first time I had, you know, felt like I could smile in a few months. So I was like, wow, this, you know, and so I went back to Navadvip where we were staying and I couldn't go in Parkram because I could barely walk. I had this chikungunya. So then the next day I was like, I couldn't stop thinking about him. I was like, who is this Vaishnav? You know, I was on Skype chatting with one senior Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Swami Maharaj disciple, and I told him about it. And he said, "Oh, if you feel that way, you should go every day." So I went back. And then the next day I go back and I came in the room, or no, I went to the room and they're like, "Oh, come on in." And you know, it was so, at that time, this was 2011. So it was so relaxed. There wasn't so many people. And I went in and I didn't know what I was going to say. And so I just told Maharaj everything. And I said, you know, I told him what my seva is and I would travel around the world. And I said, I feel, but I don't want to go now. And I don't know what to do. And he said, this void you're feeling, is very good because everywhere you go, you'll remember your guru even more. And then he gave the example of like how if a parent loses a child, and then the baby's clothes and the shoes and everything the parent sees of the child brings so much remembrance that they're in such deep love and separation. He said it will be like this. And then he said, so you should continue. And he did exactly what our Srila Gurudev does. He said, you should continue going around the world. And he went like this, which is what our Srila Gurudev would always do. So I felt Gurudev coming through. He said, you should continue traveling the world, preaching the message of Lord Chaitanya. So then I was just like, okay, let's do it, like that empowerment. So it's very as a conditioned soul, it's impossible to glorify the pure Vaishnav. And even in our Vaishnav Vandan, which we sing every day, in one of the verses, it says, what power, Devaki Nandan Das is saying, what power do I have to glorify them? Afflicted by ignorance, I only exhibit conceit. So similarly, it's, who knows, who can understand the heart of a Vaishnav? But Srila Maharaj has taught us so beautifully that even if we're unaware of the Vaishnav's qualities, or we can't understand them, that we'll get just by chanting their name. He said, we'll get the topmost welfare. And so that's why he said every morning when you wake up, and all of our acharyas have taught us this, when we wake up, our first thing is to do our Jayadwani, all glories to say the names of all of our acharyas. And on appearance days and disappearance days, when they give extra mercy, they're more merciful on their titis, on their days. Even if we don't know anything about them, just to call out their name with earnest prayer and earnest longing. Śrīla Śrīmad Bhakti Vijñāna Bhakti Gosvāmī Mahārāja Ki Jai, praying, for their mercy and for their qualities, and there's an inkling of their pure qualities, and that this Ki Jai, this Jai, it's not just all victory to them. It's, when there's a war, there's a victorious party and a defeated party. So we're in this war against Maya, war against lust, anger, pride, envy, illusion, deceit. So praying Ki Jai, Śrīla Bhaktivedanta Bhāratī Gosvāmī Maharaj, please be victorious over my anarthas, which are plaguing me 24/7. So Srila Maharaj, he also, there's, I don't know if anyone spoke on this already. I just came on a little bit ago, but he had shared that he got so many mantras from different acharyas, and that he learned, like as we heard from everybody, how much he served. So when he joined the Math, he came to the Math, the first Vaishnav that he was hearing from and serving was Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he was dictating for him. Srila Sridhar Maharaj would speak and he would dictate. And so he taught Srila Bharatīji Maharaj to always serve Vaishnavas. So he said this, I took this as a mantra, and that's what he did. We see over his life how he served almost all of the disciples of Srila Saraswati Thakur. One time, one of my god sisters said, now that my guru's not here, I don't really know who to serve. And then he said, and he just gave an example of himself. He said, one time, Bhakti Vivek Bharatīji Maharaj, who he has written that Guru Vastakam in Bengali. He said one time he was sick and there was nobody was serving him. And he said, nobody asked me, I just went and I did it. And I served him and I nurtured him back to health. So like this, we see how there's a whole, when we read My Beloved Masters, or when we read anything that Srila Bharatīji Maharaj has produced about the Vaishnavas, it's always how much he served. And it's not even in his own glorification, it's to teach us how important Vaishnava Seva is. He says, if you have a chance to serve, his guru instructed him, if you have a chance to serve, someone asks you to serve, you must do it, because you don't know when that opportunity will come again. So he said he learned this mantra. He took this mantra from Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj. And he said from Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj, there was this time, and we've all probably just heard it recently because Rath Yatra just passed, but during Rath Yatra, Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj was singing this beautiful bhajan, and then there was a pickpocket who took his wallet, and then one of Srila Maharaj's godbrothers ran and he caught the pickpocket, and he was so proud of himself, and he interrupted Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj and said, I caught he stole your wallet, he stole his money, I caught him. And Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj was so upset. He said, you don't understand this. When you can get absorbed, it's very rare to get absorbed in the moods, the bhavs of a bhajan. And when you get absorbed, nothing else matters. So he said, Srila Puri Maharaj said, when spontaneous bhav arises for Bhagavan, all other things become inferior in comparison. So Srila Bharatīji Maharaj said this, I took this mantra from Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj and lived my life like that. He said, I followed this principle throughout my life. And then one more example is, he's given many, but of our Param Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, there was a court case against Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj's own brother. Adalomi Maharaj, our Param Gurudev made a court case against him because they weren't wearing saffron, they weren't giving sannyas initiations, they weren't doing Harinam Sankirtan anymore. So Srila Bharatīji Maharaj would take dictation, and then Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, I think, would proofread it. And then they did all this work, tons of paperwork, like what court cases are like, you got to go to the courts, and so, a tremendous amount of work. So then when it was time to go to court, the other party arrived, they were in saffron. The night before, he gave like a bunch of people sannyas, and they showed up with doing Harinam Sankirtan. So the court said, look, they're doing, what's this case about? They're doing what you said they're not doing. So they won. So then after, Srila Bharatīji Maharaj was told, our Param Gurudev, Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj, well, we did all that work and we didn't even win. And Param Gurudev said, we did win because they did what we what we were suing them about, what we didn't want them to do, they're now doing, what they were doing, now they are doing. So until they stop that, we've won. So Srila Bhakti Maharaj said, what he learned from our Srila Bhakti Vijñāna Maharaj is, we are not here to deal in real estate business, but to serve the Vaishnavas, and also to never compromise when it comes to principles. Lead your life with the sole aim of protecting principles. So he said he's taken that as a mantra from Srila Bhakti Vijñāna Maharaj. So one other really sweet thing, just when I was in Calcutta one time, I had told Maharaj that my Gurudev had a few times from 2008 to 2010, every time I saw him, he would ask me, he'd say, you should speak, get ready to speak. I'm going to call on you, speak. And I'm actually, it's not my nature to speak in front of people like this. So I was very nervous about it. And so I told Srila Bhakti Maharaj this in Calcutta in like 2012. And he said that he learned that one time he also didn't like to speak. And when he told Bhakti Pragyan Kesha Gosvāmī Maharaj about it, Maharaj told him that actually we're just mailmen. The mailman delivers the mail, but they don't know what's in the letter. So we just speak what we've heard from our Guru Varga. And if we don't even understand what we're saying, we're just repeating what they said. Just deliver the message, obviously with the prayer to realize it. But it's our duty to deliver the message to everyone we see. And that also, Srila Bhakti Vijñāna Kesha Maharaj helped him to see that. He said, just think that the audience doesn't know anything. I forgot what his exact words were, but it was something about like stripping them down to just a jiva soul that doesn't know anything, and just speak. So that was really sweet. So yeah, Srila Maharaj was so affectionate and so kind. One time in Chandigarh, when we arrived, he sat us down right in his own room and had his servant, it was me and one other devotee, serve us prasadam. So always caring, always so caring for on all levels, bodily, spiritually, emotionally, with what was going on, always available, always just giving. When he left his mat, which is his last thing I'll say, and then it's time for Shamrani Didi to speak. But he, when he said this mantra he took from Bhakti Pragyan Kesha Maharaj, we're not here to deal in real estate business. Same thing. And when he wasn't, his own Chaitanya Gaudiya Mat was not allowing him to give Harikatha. He said, if I cannot give Harikatha, I want to give Harikatha till the end of my life. And if I can't do that, then what is the point? And so I'm 90, obviously it's his human pastimes, but in an advanced age, he left his mat and he went to Delhi during Gaura Purnima. And when we also followed him there, and it was like 10 o'clock at night, and they allowed us to have darshan, and we bowed down and he was in bed, actually laying down. So he was such like family. And he said, I've left my mat. And then Shamrani said, we know, that's why we're here. We followed you here. And then he shared that I'm not attached to any walls of any institution. It's just, I'm only want to serve my Guru Maharaj and Guru Varga. When I was young, I lived under a tin shed, and I can do it again. And he was getting so many invitations to stay in so many different places. And he said, I just want to give Harikatha. So he really showed us that it's to follow the stream of bhakti and where the pure katha is being emanated, and not to walls, institutions, management, that's all secondary. So anyways, I will end here and just praying for Srila Maharaj's mercy, that I can, as he stresses, that the service means that the object of service is pleased. And so I'm praying that I can please him, please my Gurudev, please the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, and develop some teeny tiny fraction of his mood that he served for his whole entire life. So yeah, Srila Bhakti Vijñāna Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai.
Thank you so much, Didi.
Thank you. Is that right, Nini? Oh, she's speaking out there?
She's coming just half a minute, mantra almost.
Oh, okay. Okay, Sharmarandi is coming. In 1 second.
Okay.
So, here she is. Okay, yeah. Where's Krishna?
Jai Shrimati Shamarani Didi ki jai.
Hi, you can put your computer here.
Let's not add milk. Alcohol. Am I supposed to be here? When I read from that? Which computer do you want to use? It's already set up here.
Trying to set up here, yeah.
So she just has what you need.
Pranam Shamarani Didi.
And I pranam to you and to everybody. Thank you for organizing this whole very auspicious event.
It's Mahārāja's mercy.
Okay,
Hi, how are you? Okay?
I will let you know as soon as I know who I am, how I am.
Okay, that sounds good answer.
Let me just, get my lapel. Can you hear me very well?
Very well.
Agyanam timirandasya Gyananjana salakaya Chaksurun militam yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Gurave Gauraham Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tvadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namah. Yang Pravrjantam Anupetam Apeta Krityam Dvaipayano Viraha Taruva Juhava Putreti Tanmayataya Taravo Vanidus Tam Sarvabhuta Hridayam Muni Manatosmi Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshay Chiptasya Kamadi Tarangamadye Kripamaitvam Sharanam Prapadyam Vrinde Namaste Charanarvindam Tavaivasmi Najivami tam vina Iti Vigyaya Radhe Tam Nayamam Charanantike. First, I offer my unlimited obeisances in the dust of the lotus feet of my most worshipful Diksha Gurudev, Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnu Pad, Asto to the Srimad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, and the same unlimited obeisances in the dust of the lotus feet of my most worshipful Shiksha Gurudev, Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnu Pad, Asto to the Sat Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Gosvāmī Mahārāja, to Srila Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Gosvāmī Mahārāja, to my Param Gurudev Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshava Gosvāmī Mahārāja, and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, all of his divine associates, and to all the assembled devotees. So there are so many marvelous speakers, so many wonderful writings about their memories of Srila Maharaj, And I'm just offering a little atomic, not as an atomic bomb, but as in an atom, little tiny offering in the dust of his lotus feet. So I'm going to I would like to share two things today. How much time do I have, Chandrika?
You have 25 minutes left now, but 25.
Okay. All right. So I'd like to share the first time that I met him because it was so much tattva about Guru there in that meeting. And then if there's more time, then because you know how pure devotees give light on deep meanings of the Shastra, of the practices. Like I remember when I was with him in the various cities, he would talk about upavas. Upavas, I thought just meant fasting. And then he said, no, upa means near, and upa means near, and vas means living. It's when you live near Krishna by thinking more about Krishna and speaking about him, doing his kirtan. So in any like pure devotee maidservant of Srimati Radhika, they come down and go deeper and deeper and deeper to the deepest meanings. So here I learned a lot about Guru Tattva. When I first met Śrīla Mahārāja, I told him that I heard that you're a pure devotee and I kind of intellectually believe it, but I really don't have any attraction to you. Like with Śrīla Narayana Gosvāmī Mahārāja, I immediately wanted to travel with him around the world, and I did. But with you, I don't have that at all. So Śrīla Mahārāja replied, which made me attracted right away. He said, there's no need to be attracted to me because Guru is in the heart, he's in his books, he's in every atom, he's everywhere. So that was the beginning. And then he continued on Guru Tattva. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami never uttered the name of his Diksha Guru in Chaitanya Charitamrita. He only uttered the names of his Shiksha Gurus, Rup, Sanatan, Bhatta Raghunath, and so on. No one would ever know who his Shiksha Guru was because he did not write about that, his Diksha Guru. People have to speculate. Is it him? Maybe it's him. Then in his Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is so unique, and his Govinda Lilamrita, which is full with the pastimes of Radha and Krishna during their eightfold periods of the day, is so wonderful. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has accepted his writings and quoted them from his books. So this is Guru Tattva. Bhaktivinoda Thakur never met physically Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, but he accepted him as his Guru. So Guru is timeless. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur quotes the summary verses of Govinda Lilamrita in his own Bhajana Rahasya. At the end of every single chapter, he has the time of the day, and then the next chapter is the next time of the day to fit in the Astakaliya Lila. So then, in his commentary to Mahaprabhu's 8 verses of Shikshastakam, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur elaborately quotes from Anshalila of Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is also his guru, Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, even though they're hundreds of years apart. In his own song from Gitavali, which is also called Shikshastakam, he adopted those Chaitanya Charitamrita verses. And in our mat, Śrīla Mahārāja is saying, in our mat, we sing his Shikshastakam bhajans during the month of Kartik every morning, every noon, afternoon. So here is Guru Tattva. Because Guru Tattva is, they're all manifestations of Krishna, all the same one. I asked Śrīla Narayana Mahārāja once in Los Angeles after one of his lectures, I said, so we hear that Guru is one, but in this very life, I hadn't met Śrīla Mahārāja yet. I just met Śrīla Gurudev. So I asked, but in this life, I've already had 2. So how do we understand that? And then Śrīla Mahārāja was going to be number 3. Of course, all of the acharyas are Shiksha Guru, all the books of our Shiksha Guru, but still we have the ones that we're the most connected with. So I said, so in this life, I already have 2. And he said, it's all one because it's all Krishna, just like it's all Krishna's one but he manifested as millions of Krishna in the rasa dance. So it's just like that. And then Śrīla Mahārāja went on to say that he reveals that Madan Mohan deity in the Madan Mohan temple, he's his Shiksha Guru, Madan Mohan. He was ordered by the Vaishnavas to write the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and then he went into the Madan Mohan temple and to get his blessings. What blessings? Actually, Chaitanya Charitamrita is written by Madan Mohan himself. So he's his Shiksha Guru. It's all Madan Mohan. All gurus are manifestations of Madan Mohan. Madan Mohan's roop, his form, and his swarup, his nature. The Shiksha Guru is a manifestation of his nature, and the Diksha Guru is a manifestation of his form, and there's no difference between his form and his nature. And then he's quoting, Śrīla Mahārāja quoted the Chaitanya Charitamrita, how Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj is saying, actually, this Chaitanya Charitamrita is not my writing. It's the dictation of Madan Mohan. My writing is like the repetition of a parrot. Then he went on to talk about Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur accepted, again, repeated, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Gosvāmī as his guru, even though nobody knows who Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami's Diksha Guru is. He then gave the example of Haridas Thakur. Who's Haridas Thakur's Diksha Guru? He didn't have one, and yet no one in the disciplic succession can neglect him as an authority. Śrīla Mahārāja then gave the example of Sukadeva Goswami by quoting Lord Shiva. I may know Srimad Bhagavatam. Sukadeva Goswami may know. The son of Vyasadeva may know, that is Sukadeva Goswami, and Vyasadeva may or may not know Srimad Bhagavatam. What did he mean by that? What did Maharaj mean? Then he paraphrased, maybe I, Shiva, understands it, but Sukadeva Goswami fully understands it. So what does that mean? How do we understand that Vyasadeva, who is the literary incarnation of Krishna, may or may not understand Srimad Bhagavatam, which was his dictation to Ganesh? So Sukadeva Goswami also heard it from him. So how could he know more than his guru? So Śrīla Mahārāja didn't explain this in a lot of detail, but hinted at the answer. And then from my Shiksha Guru, Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, we heard that on God's side, who is God, he doesn't understand himself as much as Radharani does, right? She alone can relish his qualities. And anyone in her line, anyone in her following, they also understand Krishna better. So Sukadeva Goswami, he's not exactly a gopi, but he's in the line of Srimati Radhika. He's her parrot. That reminds me of another thing that he says a lot, Śrīla Mahārāja says a lot, that when Krishna disappeared from the Rasa Leela, all the other gopis, as we've heard many times, oh, namaste, dhanavats, Lord Vishnu, and Krishna took 2 extra arms to play a joke with the gopis. Can you just tell us where Krishna is? They didn't want to waste time talking with Lord Vishnu. And then they just ran off. But when Radharani came, Krishna could not maintain, he could not hide himself from her. He couldn't maintain his 2 extra arms. And therefore the place where his arms went right back into his stomach is called Paita Gaon, the village where Krishna's extra 2 arms went back in his stomach, and he had to face the fact to Radharani that I'm that very same Krishna. And then Śrīla Mahārāja said, and all the gopis who were following behind her, they also saw that. So if one becomes a follower of her, then Krishna is actually revealed in fullness. Therefore, Vyasadeva may or may not know, because he's God himself. He's not Ashraya Tattva. So In this way, Mahārāja was giving examples of the tattva of Guru. His words reminded me of the words of my Srila Prabhupada and further clarified them, just as Gurudev's words had when I first met him in 1992, which was that he's speaking about his books, that if in my heart I've accepted Rupa Gosvāmī as my Shiksha Guru, and I'm accepting all his, no one can challenge that my heart accepts this. So I'm accepting as my Shiksha Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Mahārāja. There's no one to challenge. And then our Srila Gurudev said, therefore read the books, don't read the books, accept them as Shiksha Guru. And so Srila Bhāratī Mahārāja, being manifestation of Guru, just continued that, giving us deeper and deeper understandings of Guru Tattva. Then, interestingly enough, Srila Prabhupada was always encouraging me in the art, painting, and he said, we make life members from the art, and the art makes all my books get sold, and so on and so forth. And then Srila Gurudev also encouraged me in that way. And then when one of Srila Gurudev's disciples was telling Mahārāja that, oh, and Shamrani is a great artist, and she painted so many pictures for Prabhupada's books and for Gurudev's books and for the temples, and she edited so many of Srila Gurudev's books. So Srila Mahārāja, in order to attach me more, Srila Mahārāja said, as the true successor of Prabhupada and our Gurudev, oh, art is not bhajan. Editing is not bhajan. They are nothing if there is no nam bhajan. Uttering the holy name from the core of the heart, that is bhajan. If you are not doing bhajan, then even if you are writing, cooking, or anything else, there's no benefit. That reminds me of when I brought one devotee from the Philippines to see him in, I believe it was Mayapur, and the devotee was cooking for the temple in the Philippines. He was the head cook. And so I introduced him, and Srila Mahārāja said, how many rounds are you doing? He said, maybe one. Then he said, your service is nothing. So continuing in the same line. And I wanted to be assured in that meeting that Srila Mahārāja was connected with my Srila Prabhupada. Because, when you meet a Shiksha Guru, there's always that jitteriness in the beginning. Am I cheating on my other Shiksha Guru, Srila Gurudev? Am I cheating on my Diksha Guru, Srila Prabhupada? So Srila Mahārāja, knowing my heart, knowing my mind, because this devotee, Shivananda Sen, said that I was very, Prabhupada's senior devotee, senior disciple. So then Srila Mahārāja commented on that as well. How many years I have known Srila Swami Mahārāja, he said. So many more years than you. I knew him when he was a householder in the early 1940s and 50s. We served him then. When his son and wife were not serving him, we were serving him. He came to our mandir, and he was staying there in Puri. It was he and Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Gosvāmī Mahārāja, myself and others. We were all chanting there together. So then I got it that he's connected because he's connected in that other realm as well. He's connected in this realm, and he's connected in that realm, sharing the service in the Kunja Jorno, in the Nikunjas. Then he told me something about Srila Prabhupada's life, and how coming to Chipawali in Delhi, and how he worked on his translating books because he knew him in those days personally. And then he turned to that devotee Shivananda Sen and said, I know everything. There's no necessity for you to tell me about him, about our Srila Prabhupada, because I know everything. Before going to America, for the first time, he told me, now I'm going overseas to America. I'm giving my life to establish Krishna consciousness in the West. I gave my life to my family that was not successful. I went to America and chanted in the park with kartals, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. And that was successful. Then he turned his attention. I'm talking a little bit fast because my time is short. Is that okay? I'm not talking too fast. Okay. So then he turned his attention to Krishnadas Kaviraj again, who he explained had also received the grace of Nityananda Prabhu, his Shiksha Guru. By the grace of Nityananda Prabhu, Krishnadas Kaviraj was able to write Chaitanya Charitamrita. He then turned his attention to Sanatana Goswami, connecting him with Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. And he said, Sanatana Goswami is the Sambandha Acharya, the Acharya of establishing our relationship with Krishna. And Madan Mohan is the Sambandha deity, and the deity who gives our relationship. So it's he who's a first approach for service. It was that Madan Mohan who wrote Chaitanya Charitamrita. So then that's how he connected Sanatana Goswami with Madan Mohan and Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Then continuing the idea that Guru is a manifestation of Krishna's will and God's working through Guru. He then began speaking about Baladev Vijñāna Prabhu. He explained that Baladev's Shiksha Guru, Srila Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur, was performing pastimes of being infirm or diseased in his later years. Therefore, when the king of Jaipur requested him to travel to Jaipur to establish Gaudiya Vaishnavism and to re-establish Radharani on the altar of Govinda, through scriptural evidence, he said he has to go, I can't go. So on his behalf, Baladev Vijñāna Prabhu went, who soundly proved that Radharani's position is superior to that of Krishna's married queens. The opposing caste Goswamis, who had claimed that since Radharani was not married to Krishna, she had no moral right to stand next to Govinda. So all that was silenced by Baladev Vijñāna Prabhu. He was one very thin, small man next to all these big, heavy acharyas from the Ramanandi Sampradaya. So then, even though he proved that, still they said, but we can't accept Gaudiya Vaishnavism as bona fide because you don't have a commentary, an authorized commentary on Vedanta Sutra, and all the other sampradayas have it. So even when he said, well, we have our natural commentary, and that's Vyasadeva, but they didn't accept that. So what happened, he also went into the temple, Govindaji's temple, and he said, how am I going to do this? And Govindaji said, don't worry, you just put your pen to the paper and I'm dictating. So is there any difference between Govinda and Madan Mohan? The same deities. Once Srila Prabhupada was speaking on a morning walk, and the devotees were saying how different the deities look from one another in the various temples around the world. So Srila Prabhupada said, when you become advanced, you can see that they all look alike. So in that way, he helped me understand that he's a manifestation of Guru. He explained that we discriminate according to our ability so that we know whether or not to associate with someone. But we don't discriminate regarding whether or not to serve. Because I had asked him that sometimes in our Srila Gurudev Sangha, now that Srila Gurudev left the vision of the world, a lot of the leaders, or some of the leaders, are fighting and they're falling down from the religious principles. And I got so disturbed because Gurudev worked so many years to establish his Sangha. So basically, Srila Mahārāja told me, don't think of that, it's none of your business. The only thing that's your business is Nam Bhajan. And then he said, I said, I don't want to hear from those kind of persons. I don't know how to associate. I don't want to just be mean and just turn away from them. So what do I do? So he said, you need to discriminate with who to associate with and who not to, but no discrimination regarding who to serve. In other words, if any Vaishnava, a fallen one, an advanced one, anyone comes, we give him a nice seat, we give him prasadam, like that. But don't associate in the 6 kinds of loving services. So I think I only have 3 minutes left or something.
5 minutes. Well, I mean, if you go over, it's okay because you're actually the last speaker as well. So.
Last speaker, okay. All right. So then he was speaking about it's not necessary for one guru to exactly be in the same place as another one. So he was saying. But they're all united. Even Srila Bhakti Vallabha Gosvāmī Mahārāja, when he heard of our Srila Gurudev's departure from the world in December of 2010, he said, he quoted Srila Narottam Das Thakur that we're always connected and there's no separation. Inconceivable to us, because they're working in that world, in the maidservant world as well. So as you know, often when Srila Mahārāja would speak to somebody, he would kind of like be looking at another direction. So like he's looking at a TV show or something. Or we can't see a TV show, go look up. So with Srila Prabhupada, he would give me so much attention. Oh, Jadharani, and I'd feel like it's only me and him in the world. And then by the end, when he had 10,000 disciples, I kind of felt left out because I had all the attention at the beginning. And with Srila Gurudev, it was exactly the same thing. So much attention and then nothing. But with Srila Mahārāja, it was fabulous because he gave me no attention right from the beginning. So I thought, yep, he doesn't want me to act on any false ego, thinking I'm anything special. In fact, when he would give out sweets, he'd make sure that even though I had my hand out, I would be the last one, not the first one, to get a sweet. So I asked him at Parganj, this is also one of my very first meetings with him. I asked him, so now Srila Bhakti Vallabha Gosvāmī Mahārāja is soon entering Nitya Lila, and our Gurudev has entered Nitya Lila. So what kind of association do we want to have with your Guru Mahārāja's Sangha? So again, looking in another direction, he said, the mood is one. All our thinking and preaching is one. Diversity and unity, unity and diversity. It is by the will of God, and our Gurudev also said that, it is by the will of God that there are many branches to preach the thoughts of Sri Chaitanya. There's no difference in the mood and preaching, but the management is different. Then he said the Goswāmīs were not all in one place. They were staying in different parts of Braj Mandal, yet they were one-minded. They are not disciples of the same guru. Raghunath Das Goswami was a disciple of Yadananda Acharya. Sanatana Goswami was a disciple of Rupa Goswami, or another guru. Rupa Goswami was a disciple of Sanatana Goswami. Sanatana Goswami considered himself that even though I'm the older brother, he's my guru. So Jiva Goswami is a disciple of Rupa Goswami, yet they are one. Their preaching is one. They're all trying their best according to their capacity, which they all have the topmost capacity. Rupa Goswami spread the Bhakti cult. Sanatana Goswami spread Sambandha Gyan, knowledge of the Jiva's relationship with God. Madan Mohan thus appeared to Sanatana Goswami. Rupa Goswami spread the service of God, Abhideya, the dealings of one's relationship, including Raganuga and Rupanuga Bhajan. Therefore, the Abhideya deity, Govindadev, appeared to him. Thus, he taught the 64 kinds of bhaktis. Then Srila Maharaj wanted to show me that Gurudev's other disciples present Gurudev's other disciples were present. So it's like when I first came to Gurudev, I saw there were so many disciples of our Prabhupada there. And although I was one of the first 10 disciples of Gurudev, I thought, am I lagging behind here? There's already so many of Prabhupada's disciples here. And it was the same thing with Śrīla Mahārāja, because when I did meet with him the first few times, I saw that Śrīla Gurudev's disciples, so many of them were already there, and I was really lagging behind. So it's my illusion that I'm thinking that I'm a senior devotee. I want to share one more thing about him, and I didn't get to the Nirjan, but tomorrow we're having 2 programs in Śrīla Mahārāja's honor, and so I'll speak about that then. Which is, he gave an amazing talk on Nirjan Bhajan. What does Nirjan mean? Like Nirjan Bhajan, we would think it means, being alone in a secluded place, no one else is around. But he said the real meaning of Nirjan, just in a nutshell, is that you can have thousands of people around you, hundreds of people, 10 people around you in the same room, and you're not there. You're absorbed in bhajan. Without that, there's no Nirjan Bhajan. But anyway, what I wanted to share with you now is my famous prasadam stories. I don't know why, but I asked him on several occasions, because he was always so fond of distributing prasadam. Either when he would give a class, he would give out prasadam after class. Either right there on the spot, he would give out like bowls of sweet rice through his representative. The sweet rice would be passed out to like 400 people in the audience. And then when he would go to his room after class, he would distribute like bananas or grapes or some sweets. And then when there was no class and we would go to see him, he would still distribute prasadam. So I asked him once, like, what are you doing when you give out prasadam? And again, I got the TV, I'm watching TV, look. So I thought, well, maybe, because I was the only one there with Sundara Gopal Prabhu. So I thought, well, maybe he doesn't understand my English. So Sundara Gopal Prabhu translated me into Hindi. And still I got the TV look. I was wondering, why doesn't he want to answer this question? So then just a couple of minutes later, about 20 devotees came into his room. And then he said, I'm asked what I'm doing when I give out prasadam. I am distributing Krishna prema and taking away all anarthas. Another time, because we would notice that devotees would just give him like boga and then he would distribute it. So I said, so what's happening here? And Śrīla Mahārāja said, if you're handed boga by boga in quotes, by the pure devotee, then you know that Krishna has tasted it. And even if the rules and regulations of deity worship have been perfectly followed, and the mantra is perfectly said and offering the boga, still you don't know if Krishna tasted it. So amazing how Krishna works through his pure devotees. And I guess I'll end here because the time is up. But one thing that Maharaj quoted, going back to the gopis, I know I'm going here and there, because I'm kind of trying to fit an ocean into a jar. He also quoted the same thing that our Gurudev quoted and stressed that so much. Gopi, and this is very important because this is the week of Ratha Yatra, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, for the first time in millions of years since the Ratha Yatra festival began, shed a new light. What is that? The superiority of Vrindavan, the superiority of the gopis, the superiority of Radharani, and the service of Srimati Radhika. So Śrīla Mahārāja quoted, in that instance when he was telling about how Krishna's arms went into his stomach, he quoted, Gopi anugatya vina aiswarya gyane bhajaila nahi paya brajendra nandane. If one has a conception of opulence of Krishna, that Krishna is God, and if one is not following in the footsteps of the gopis, particularly one gopi, Srimati Radhika, then we can never attain Brajendra Nanda and Shyamasundar. So here is so many floods come in, but another year, another time, and tomorrow, and I think you're going on for a couple of days. And even if Ananta Shesh would speak about him or any pure devotee like him, with his millions of hoods, he can never come to the end of Srila Mahārāja's glories. Panchakalpatarubhyascha kritasindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo.
Thank you so much, Ramana Didi, for joining us and for speaking to us really so many stories. I think I'm going to have to go back and rewind and hear again, because there's so much to absorb, and hopefully I'll be able to tune in tomorrow. Is it for the conversation about New June? Is it?
We have it 11 o'clock in the morning and then 6 o'clock at night.
Okay, I'll try. I've set tomorrow free to do all this.
Okay, Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you so much, and to Santi Didi as well. Thank you so much. Okay. Okay, so we'll end the class here, and thank you so much for everyone for joining. Please forgive all my offences, and I pray to Srila Mahārāja that he will please have blessings on me, that I will have some taste for bhajan, for the holy names, and that I may be able to serve the Vaishnavas, so that I may be able to please them. And thank you so much everyone for joining. Vanchakaputriyascha kripa sindhubhyeva patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Dandavat pranam. Hare Krishna. Radhe Radhe.